We need to think about doing some kind of projects like this, putting our money into, we could start it out by even having, seminars in remote locations like this, where people get together and just, we might even do something more practical than just talking about drugs, because, this isn't all about drugs. This is about experiences, right? And it's about ideas that come out of the experiences. It's about how people's lives are changed. It's about when we did that conference back in 1977, things weren't quite like they are now, where it's, psychedelics are just stamp collecting. So everybody's up here, like they're academics, showing all of their slides and their images of, molecules or pictures of, shamans or Lucius or whatever. But, the history of LSD didn't start at Lucius. Lucius is an interesting curiosity, but the history of LSD started with Albert Hofmann's discovery. So that's like a misconception, right? The psychedelic movement was not the LSD movement. LSD, not all LSD is equal. Not all LSD is LSD. Some LSD is, and these kinds of errors that we have in thinking are significant. So anyway, that's pretty much what I'm doing, and I'm in kind of a chrysalis state with my Island Foundation. People can see what I've been doing at island.org. I also have a blog at bruceeisner.com where I keep things updated pretty regularly. I'm even covering the conference while I'm here. And at this point, what I'd like to do is just open this up for questions. Yeah.
Could you tell me in a little bit more detail what this island project is? I mean, in terms of what number of people you get together physically?
Yeah, we're in the process of planning that right now. And she asked me what kinds of numbers are involved and what kinds of exact projects and plans are involved in the Psychedelic Sanctuary Project. And the answer to that is that we're currently in the process of doing that right now. We're planning, and we want it to be something that people co-create. I don't want to just lay a plan on you. We're going to lay a basic plan and let it evolve from people's getting together and having discussions about what to do. Having seminars where they, like for instance, we could visit different parts of the world and then talk about what parts that we might want to, put a human development center like Esalen into. You remember in the 60s, Esalen was a place that you could go in Big Sur. And Big Sur was a remote place in the world back in those days. It was off the beaten track. But now you go to Big Sur, and Big Sur is a whole different story in California. It's, become regimented, and basically you couldn't do the same things that you could back in this. So, but there are places in the world where there could be new Eselens, new human development centers. And some of the people on the Island Project might want to staff these sorts of centers. Other people might want to come and visit them. It might be, people from my generation, from the boomer generation, who were, been there and done that, and they have, always had a long-term interest in self-actualization and personal growth. And then it also might be young people who have a lot of energy and steam and a lot of utopian visions. By the way, Thomas More, Thomas More came up with the word utopia, which means no place. And also there's another translation of it as being the perfect place. So it's no place in the perfect place. So there is no place that's perfect. And when I'm not looking to create a utopia. Island was certainly not a utopia, but we can do better than we've been doing you know, in getting together and just talking about psychedelics. I mean, if you were, put yourself in my position. I mean, I've been writing about these things since 1971, right? I put together 4 or 5 of these conferences. I've listened to all of the lectures. I've got it, you know, but what's the next step? Where do you take it? And that's what I'm putting out there. Oh, yeah. He's asking me, since I've been at other conferences, if I can compare them to other conferences in the past. Well, this is very large by most conference standards that I've been to. And you could almost see a direct progression from where the conferences went back in 1977 to now. When we brought Hofmann up originally, you know, we were not Europeans and we didn't know, you know, what to do with German-speaking men. You know, here they have the interviews are far, you get far more information than you do from when Hofmann got up there and he was first revealing, you know, how he discovered LSD. We thought that Hofmann was against LSD, that he hated, you know, the hippies, and sometimes he's even misinterpreted to the present day that way because he's trying to be balanced, of course. But when we found out what a great guy he was, that was a big revelation, and it's kind of led from there to here. So there's like kind of now, you know, Hofmann is a way that we can put out good information about these things in the face of a world which has been so bombarded with negative information about psychedelics. It's going to be, one of the reasons why the Sanctuary Project idea sounds good to me is it's going to be very difficult to eradicate the amount of bad PR that psychedelics have been gotten. Every time there's a story about them, there's 100 stories, you know, or Scientologists demonstrating, or, you know, in the United States, they absolutely hate the counterculture. The Republicans in charge of things there, they arrested the guy from Cheech and Chong, right, for putting up a pipe store on the internet, that kind of thing, right. Well, I mean, we're not going to be able, I don't think that we're going to be able, our target audience as a marketing person is not to try to reach the masses. I mean, great, we put out some good positive PR here, but that's not, you know, going to do it. What we really need to do is think about how we can get psychedelics into the hands of very highly creative people who can produce, you know, great works and new memes, you know, because memes compete for each other. I don't know if anybody here has read this book, The Meme Machine, by Susan Blackmore, but she explains it very well. You know, memes are all competing for, you know, how they can occupy, you know, some space in our brain, and you know, the best memes win. And the way that we can, you know, produce